Yo, what's going on, everybody? Ghetto Penguin Gaming, and today we will be talking about the NBA free agency market. A lot to talk about. Big moves, big stays, big contracts, lots of money. Let's just get ready.
And I'm off the Hennessy. And like your boy from Compton said, you know this dick ain't free. I got girls that I should've made pay for it.
Alrighty, so obviously we have to talk about the biggest stars first, either re-signing or leaving their team to go to a different team. Starting with Kevin Durant, who has agreed on a deal to stay with Golden State. Steph Curry has also agreed to stay in Golden State with another huge contract. Now, those two are staying. The thing that people have to understand is that their team, with those 4 stars, is on pace to keep their team together for at least 4 more years. Now, the rest of the league probably isn't happy about that, but the Warriors have done, no matter if you're a Warriors fan or not, which I'm not, you have to respect the way that they have put together this team with good contracts. Make sure that people get paid the right amount, and they're paying their players the right amounts with the right contracts. Moving on, we have Gordon Hayward leaving the Utah Jazz and moving to the Boston Celtics to play with Isaiah Thomas and Al Horford. Now, Utah Jazz, I do believe, had a bright future with Rudy Gobert. They had a couple young players out there with Gordon Hayward as well, but obviously the Boston was a better, it's a better team overall. They have Isaiah Thomas, Al Horford. They have some young talent. But at the end of the day, those Boston Celtics, I don't know how well they're gonna stack up against. They're gonna stack up against like Cleveland. Can they beat Cleveland still with this team? I don't know. Al Horford, is he better than Kevin Love? Gordon Hayward is not better than LeBron. Isaiah Thomas isn't better than Kyrie. I don't know. I don't know. It's not. They're still one superstar away from beating Cleveland and then giving the Warriors a good run for their money. But it's a good start. Okay, moving on, we have Blake Griffin, who has agreed to stay with the Clippers after Chris Paul has left. But I'll get to that later. Clippers, I don't know what to do with them. I mean, they don't got I don't know. They don't have Chris Paul anymore. They couldn't do it with Chris Paul. I can't see that them winning a playoff series with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, or getting deep in the playoffs at least, with just Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. Not saying that those are the 2 only players they have on that team, but those are the 2 only superstar talent. We'll say superstar talent for now, but yeah. We got Kyle Lowry. He has agreed to stay with the Toronto Raptors. Decent sized contract. Paul Millsap has went from the Atlanta Hawks and is playing with the Nuggets. Nuggets are kind of an interesting team. I'd look out for them too. I think they're definitely going to be up. They could definitely be a seed playoff sneaker coming up into this upcoming year. Serge Ibaka has agreed to come back to the Toronto Raptors in their deal. Not that big of a deal. Otto Porter, this is kind of big because he had a very good season 3-point shooting wise, and gave a big offer, I do believe. Alright, so what basically happened was Otto Porter, great season shooting threes. Obviously, with Steph Curry, changed the league. Now it's a 3-point shooting league. If you can shoot threes, you are in to get paid a lot of money. Brooklyn was offering Otto Porter decent amount of money for a kind of player that I think Otto Porter is. And Washington matched the offer and ended up keeping Otto Porter. Next we have J.J. Redick, who went from the Clippers to the 76ers on a way overpaid contract. I don't understand this move at all. 76ers, I think J.J. Redick was is a good player to bring in for the 76ers. He's one of those veteran guys that they can use. I think the 76ers could use a good veteran guy, but he got paid too much money for the kind of player J.J. Redick is, and I think a lot of it is just because he can shoot threes at a good percentage, and that is what the league has come to. Pelicans going down to the south. We have Drew Holiday staying with New Orleans, another contract signed. George Hill has gone from the Jazz to the Kings. Another good player left the Jazz, so the Jazz is kind of in crumbles there. Dion Waiters has stayed with the Heat. Heat are going to be kind of an interesting team. Keep your eye out for them. Gallinari has actually gone from the Nuggets to the Clippers. I think that's a good pickup for the Clippers right there. Taj Gibson has left the Thunder to go with the Timberwolves. I don't know if he's got much left. Andre Iguodala signed another contract to stay with the Warriors. Like I said before, the Warriors are in good shape to keep all their players. Tony Snell has stayed with the Bucks. Kelly Olynyk, who everybody, I don't know. I'm not a huge Kelly Olynyk fan. I don't think he does much, but he's going down to the Heat as well. Andre Roberson staying with the Thunder. Dirk Nowitzki's, I think, surprisingly, I think most people who thought that he probably had one more year in him at most, has signed a 2-year deal. I think it was a $10 million deal. Don't quote me on that, but he signed a pretty good, decent-sized deal. One of my favorite moves also is Rudy Gay. He went from the Kings to the Spurs. I don't know what they're going to do with the lineup there for sure. I honestly believe that Rudy Gay is probably going to play the 2. Kawhi could play the 2, but I like Kawhi at the 3 the best. Mainly for defense, he can guard threes a lot better than Rudy Gay is, or Rudy Gay can. But yeah, that makes that team a lot better. They do have LaMarcus Aldridge, who is reportedly trying to leave. Spurs don't want him anymore, and it doesn't sound like LaMarcus Aldridge wants to stay. So maybe that can make up some of the blow. They don't have. I mean, they right now what they're looking at right now for their future is gonna be Rudy Gay and Kawhi Leonard. Because it doesn't sound like LaMarcus Aldridge is going to stay much longer. He might be packing before the trade deadline this upcoming season. Don't be surprised. But they do need some younger players. They got Tony Parker, who's on his last stretch of seasons here. So it's basically just Kawhi Leonard and Rudy Gay. I don't know how that team is going to shape out here in the future. But Rudy Gay definitely does help. Patrick Patterson from the Raptors has gone to the Thunder. Sean Livingston, yet again, re-signed with the Warriors. You're going to see a lot of that just because, I mean, they just won the finals. And, I mean, if they can keep the talent that they need there, why not re-sign them, right? All right, sorry, I had to get a drink there. So Patty Mills has stayed with the Spurs. He's another good veteran guy. But, like I said, they need some younger guys. They don't have a whole lot of younger talent, so hopefully that can work out for them and their team too, because they're not as well. They're not as deep as they were 2 years ago. And I think people have to understand that they're not the same team that they were. And I honestly don't think that they will be the 2nd or the 3rd seed. I think they will be the 4th seed in the West this upcoming season. But I think that they do have 2 good pieces with Rudy Gay, Kawhi Leonard. Depends on what Marcus Aldridge does. If he does stay, maybe they can get maybe they'll stay at the 2nd seed. But I think if Marcus Aldridge is out of there, then they will definitely not be the 2nd seed. Jeff Teague has gone to the Pacers to the Timberwolves. My God, this Timberwolves team, I'm telling people, it's a scary team. They're young, they don't have a lot of experience, but it's a scary team. They're gonna have Jeff Teague running the point, Jimmy Butler running the 2, Wiggins running the 3, Taj Gibson running the 4, and Karl Anthony Towns running the 5. That starting lineup alone, I think, they're definitely going to make the playoffs. There's no doubt in my mind that they make the playoffs. I don't know how deep they go because they don't have a lot of depth. Like I said, depth in the playoffs means a lot. That's why the Spurs do so good so many years in a row. But that starting lineup alone will make it to the playoffs, I do believe. PJ Tucker has gone from the Raptors to the Rockets. Boban, I'm not even going to say his last name, went from the Wizards to the Pacers. Is it Bojan or Bojan? I can't say his name properly, but Langston Galloway, Kings to the Pistons. Joe Ingles re-signs with the Jazz on a bigger contract. Vince Carter, I don't understand Vince Carter. He's going from the Grizzlies to the Kings. I think if you're at this stage in Vince Carter's career, you haven't won a ring before, I think you have to go to a contending team. You know that this is going to be your last season, or you're going to have 2 more seasons at the most. I just don't see the point, of playing these extra 2 seasons with a different team. I don't know what unless he must just love basketball that much. I don't know, but that's what's happening. Zach Randolph has also left the Grizzlies to go to the Kings. So they'll be playing with each other again. Keep in mind, Paul Gasol is an unrestricted free agent. Who knows where he goes if he leaves the Spurs, where he stays. Kyle Korver re-signs with the Cavs. I don't like that deal at all. I don't think Kyle Korver did anything for the Cavs, or at least as much as he should. He's too one-dimensional. Supposed to shoot threes, and I don't think he did that as well as he could have for that team. So I don't like that deal at all, but maybe the Cavs made a good deal. I don't know. Justin Holiday going from the Knicks to the Bulls. Derrick Rose is an unrestricted free agent still for the Knicks. Tony Allen is an unrestricted free agent for the Grizzlies. Great defensive player, kind of old. Kind of know he's not that valuable anymore. Ian Clark, guard for the Golden State Warriors. Don't be surprised if he stays too. He gets re-signed to another man on a 1-year deal. Shabazz Muhammad, he's a restricted free agent for the Timberwolves. Tyreke Evans has gone from the Kings to the Grizzlies. Amir Johnson, veteran, kind of more of a veteran guy, has left the. He's a good veteran guy. More of a role player, has left the Celtics to go to the 76ers. 76ers are also another one of those exciting teams to watch. They have a lot of young pieces, and I do believe that they will make a good run in the playoffs within the next 3 years. Mason Plumlee is a restricted free agent for the Nuggets. James Johnson has re-signed with the Miami Heat. Darren Collison has moved from the Kings to the Pacers. And that's about it. Now, there's a few things I do want to talk about with the Chris Paul move. I know a lot of people probably haven't, or a lot of people know about the Chris Paul and Paul George, and there's a few other moves I want to talk about, but I saved for last. Now, Chris Paul is now a Rocket with James Harden. Now, this is what I don't understand about the Rockets. Rockets just made the big decision last season to move James Harden to the point guard position, where he did extremely well. Probably could have won the MVP. He probably had just about as much of a reason to win the MVP as Westbrook does. Did so well there. They had a great three-point shooting team. I think it was a great overall win for the Rockets, even if they didn't go well or they didn't do well in the playoffs. I think it was still a win for the Rockets in the long run. But I don't understand why they get Chris Paul in there, because now what Chris Paul is going to do, Chris Paul can't play the 2. James Harden's played the 2 his whole career except for last year. What they're going to do is they're going to have Chris Paul back at point guard, James Harden at shooting guard. Now, I don't like this at all, because I think you're limiting James Harden's potential, and I do believe that James Harden is a lot better of a player than Chris Paul is right now as it stands. Even in his prime, I think James Harden is a better player than Chris Paul ever was. Now, I'm not saying that the Clippers couldn't win in the playoffs because of Chris Paul, but I do believe that he's kind of got that Westbrook mentality sometimes, where he does try to do too much with the ball, and he needs to distribute it better, and he's going to have to learn to do that with James Harden. Otherwise, this season with the Rockets is not going to go well. There is reports that Carmelo Anthony has been seen with visits with Rockets upper management, so maybe that move can be made. I don't know. I don't see that happening. I don't see their high percentage that can happen. But if that does happen, then the Rockets could have a great team set up there. But I do think that Chris Paul in the James Harden in the guard position is just not going to work as well as people are saying it's going to work. Hopefully they prove me wrong. But next we have like the Paul George, the Thunder. He's kind of the two teams that we're getting thrown around the most, with the Cavs and the Lakers. Cavs going to go play with LeBron James to take down the Warriors for the East, and take down the Warriors in the West. But also the Los Angeles Lakers, he has said that he wants to play there. The Lakers have a young team with Lonzo, Clarkson, Julius Randle, Ingram, Larry Nance, whatever. So I don't think a lot of people expected him to play with the Thunder. I'm excited to watch him play with Thunder, with Westbrook. Have Westbrook having our star around him to play with. I don't know. He doesn't play well with stars, but I hope that maybe he can eventually learn how to play with him again, now that he's had time to play basically two whole seasons by himself with Kevin Durant being injured 2 seasons ago, and then Kevin Durant just leaving last season. So he's had 2 seasons in total to play by himself. Hopefully he has finally learned how to play with stars. I really do hope so. That should be an interesting time, or an interesting season. Yeah, so that's basically going to wrap up this video. If you did like it, Leave a like, comment below what I should do or what video I should make next. Otherwise,